friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Emma LaFave, and today I'm going to take you through a walkthrough of some of my favorite watercolor and art books. So let's jump right in and start. Okay friends, so today I am going to give you a sneak peek into my watercolor and art book collection with some recommendations, things I love about them, and maybe one of these books would be perfect for you to purchase. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to get into my first book here, which is Everyday Watercolor by Jenna Rainey. So Jenna Rainey was one of the first people I started following on Instagram back in 2016. I think she almost did more calligraphy back then, and then she kind of made her way into more watercolor. She had watercolor kits on her website that she was selling that I bought. I was a little obsessed, and then once her book came out, I definitely purchased it. And this is a great book for beginners. So with this book, you're learning to paint different things in 30 days. So I'm not going to go through the whole book because I don't know if that's fair to go through everyone's book, and also don't want to make this like super long, but I just kind of want to give you the gist of what's in it. So there's like tons and tons of little projects based on each technique. So this whole first section is like strokes, curves, and circles, like how to actually move your brush. Then you get into like background and foreground and patterns, light source and shading, and then there's just like actual little projects. So I'm just going to quickly flip through. There's some great information about color theory, but the basics is that you want to kind of make your way through these 30 days with projects. So each day you're developing a new skill. So day one is strokes and kind of how to move your brush and make these different strokes, you know, really thin lines, thicker lines, working on value. And then you can make these really cute pieces after each lesson. So it goes through the whole thing, and then by the end you're making more actual paintings, which are really cool. And this is really great for beginners. I love her work. I've loved it from the beginning, and I just had to have this book, and I just think it's a really great beginner book for a lot of people who are interested in watercolors. So there's just a little sneak peek at some of the amazing things you'll learn. Like, so cute. And I know she's also coming out with her third book in the next year or two. I don't know. I think it's about oceans. But yeah, so this is a great first book. And then, of course, I had to have the second book by her, which are Everyday Watercolor Flowers, which I'm obsessed with flowers, obviously, if you watch this channel. And she has quite a different style than I do, so it's a great book to have just to see someone else's style and perspective on painting flowers. So she goes through detailed flowers and then more loose style flowers. I'll show you some examples. Like there's like a loose style flower, but she goes through all the strokes and all the steps of all these different kinds, and they kind of range, like I said, from more detailed to more, see, like step by step, more detailed to more loose kinds of flowers. So if you're really into painting flowers, this is a good book to have as well. So definitely check those two out if they seem like they'd be of interest to you, and keep an eye out for her third book. This is another book that I got from the lovely Dana Fox. She is the artist behind Wonder Forest, and she sent me this book. I did do a video on it. I love it. She has, I believe, 3 books: Watercolor with Me in the Jungle, in the Ocean, and in the Forest. And the unique and amazing thing about her books is that you paint as you go, and the paper is actual watercolor paper. So she goes through all of the steps you need to paint it, completed with a sketch on watercolor paper, and you just follow the steps. It tells you everything you need, the colors you need, and you can actually do the paintings in the book, which is the only book I have like this. So the fact that she does this is super creative and unique, and I really, really love this idea. So I think I've done a couple that are in here already. I did this little froggy, which was so fun. And then I did this tiger, which was also fun. And these are things that I usually don't paint, so they're really fun and relaxing to do and so easy to follow along with. I really suggest if you're getting something for someone else or for yourself and you just kind of want to start, but you're not the greatest at sketching, this might be absolutely perfect for you to just kind of sit back and relax and follow along with the instructions. I love the creativity of her book and the uniqueness, and I definitely suggest checking it out. The next book I'm going to be looking at is Fail Watercolor by Mako, founder of Mako. I found her on YouTube a few years ago, and I love her work. She just seems to have this way with creating like the softest, most beautiful watercolor skies, especially. But her book is more, I feel like, project-based as well, and it really takes you through the steps from beginning to end. And one thing I really like about her book, it has a bunch of information about all the techniques you need to learn and know, color theory, all that stuff, all the great information you need to know as a beginner. And then it takes you through these little projects, like I said, step by step. It lets you know if it's like beginner friendly or more advanced, using all of the techniques that you learned at the beginning of the book. So I love the way she breaks it down step by step. I'm more of a visual person, so I like seeing like first step, second step, third step, fourth step. For me, I really like that. And then she has like other alternatives, and it goes from more beginner friendly to intermediate to more advanced paintings, which are great. So there's a range of different projects. It's not just beginners or advanced. You can kind of work your way up to the advanced by working through this book, which is actually great. And she has like tons of different like little projects, skies, moons. I love her work. I love her skies. That's one thing that really attracted me to her. Her work, especially just because it just seems so soft and looks so effortless, but it's not effortless. And she has a lot of great techniques to share. And her clouds are always great. I can never figure those out, but she does a beautiful job. And this is a book I definitely recommend. The next book is The Joy of Watercolor by Emma Block. She is a wonderful artist as well. And the aesthetics of her painting and her style really is what drew me to her book and her Instagram page. Her style is very different than mine and more kind of like illustrative and animated. And I really, really love it. So this is a great book. Again, all of these books have such great information for beginners. Goes through all the stuff that you need to know, lots of color theory, supplies, lots of amazing stuff. And then once you're done learning about all the basic techniques, you get right into these little project paintings that look super cute and look easy enough for anyone to do. Honestly, she breaks it down in such a nice, easy, friendly way. Again, like first step, second step, third step, fourth step. I really like the way those are laid out. And some are really simple projects, which are great. And like Mako's book, she has advanced projects and more beginner-friendly projects. So again, you're not just stuck with just beginner stuff or advanced stuff. You can kind of work your way through the projects based on if they're more beginner-friendly or more advanced for you. She also has quite the range of painting subjects. So she has like a few people subjects that you can do. Then she has animals, dogs, birds. There's like so many different ones in here that I really love. Landscapes. There's just so much of a variety in this book, which I really love. And I love her style. Like I said, her style is so different from mine. And I just think it's so beautiful and such a great way to learn. And in addition to her watercolor book, she has a Getting Started with Gouache book, which is the one I purchased first because I didn't know much about gouache and I wanted to learn more. And again, I really love her illustrative style. So she has this one, which is similar to her watercolor one with more awesome projects. Like, look at like the little animals, food. Like, they're so cute. I feel like these should be illustrations in like a children's book. Plants, like there's just such a great variety of different little projects, so you're not just stuck doing one thing, and these are really great. And then again, at the beginning, she has a lot of great tips and information about using gouache that I didn't necessarily know, so I think it's really great for anyone who is interested in using gouache to get started with this book. The next book I want to take a look at is Florals by Hand. So this is more of an illustrative drawing book strictly on florals, which I am super into. I was more into watercolor florals at the beginning, but then I wanted to make them a bit more detailed and learn how to draw them better. So this is a really great book for this. This is by Alli, Koch. I don't know. I hope I'm saying that right. But she has great step-by-step tutorials on how to draw each of these flowers. She does some beautiful line work, and she does like huge murals and stuff like that. I found her on Instagram a while ago and I just loved her style. And this is great for learning how to draw. Again, I love the step-by-step, first this, then this. And it just, she makes it so simple and breaks it down. And there's lots of great ideas. So you have the single flower tutorials, and then in some, she puts them all together for something like that. You also have practice pages, which are great. I love when you can kind of practice in a book. It just kind of makes it more meaningful and you can kind of see your progress. And she just has wonderful designs. So this is a great book for people who are wanting to learn how to just draw or sketch florals or just brush up on their sketching, because I find painting and sketching are very different, but they're both great qualities and skills to have. So this is a really great book for this. My last kind of tutorial watercolor-ish book is Modern Watercolor Botanicals by Sarah Simon. She's the Mint Gardener, if you have seen her on Instagram. So her work is also beautiful. It's super different than mine, but I really enjoyed this book. She has quite a lot of information here that is super important to know and is great as a reference book too. Just basic watercolor techniques, color wheel, just there's so much in here that I just like to sit and read. And then she has all these different little lessons towards the back. So here's some more of the information on color theory, lots of information to read up on. So many great tips and tricks of how to get started. And then she gets into the little projects, which are really cool. I love her style. It's just so different than I find a lot of artists out there. And I really, really enjoy it. So she does a lot of botanical work and flowers and stuff. So this is fun. And she does use gouache too. So she teaches you how to use that as well. But she gives you kind of like all of the color recipes, which are really cool because there's not a lot of color mixing in a lot of the other books. There's some, but not a lot. So I love how she calls them like little color recipes of how to make those specific colors, which is really great. And then just a lot of information. So the step-by-step is a little less my style of how to follow, but she does have a lot of information that I love just reading and just kind of referring to her paintings. So the other thing I really like about her book that is really cool and unique is that to go with all the lessons that you learn in the book, there are traceable pages. So you don't necessarily have to know how to sketch all these things out, and they are tearable pages, so you can tear them out if you want to work with your watercolor paper on top, maybe work up against a window, if that's easy, if you don't have a light box, and you can trace these and then watercolor them in, which is unique because a lot of the other books don't have something like this. So I really enjoy how she put this at the back for people who are maybe not as familiar with sketching. I think it's really important, and it's really, really cool to just kind of add that into the back of the book. So that's one thing I really like about this book. And then lastly, these are two kind of more reference guides that I really, really enjoy. One is all about like flower color references, and then this one is all about color palettes. So let's look at this one first. This flower color guide, I haven't used a ton, but when trying to get ideas for flowers, I was referring a lot to Pinterest or Google, but then I got this book and it's just full of different types of flowers, which are great. So you can see how they move, see how they look. The colors, the names of them, because there's so many flowers I'll see and I have no idea what they're called. Or people will recommend a flower to me and I have no idea what it looks like, and so I can just look it up in my book. But I just really love having this as an idea guide to when I'm painting flowers. So if I want to paint something new or, you know, something I've never painted before, I could refer to this book. One thing I was thinking of doing is doing a video on flower roulette that I would just close my eyes and just skip to a page, and whatever I landed on is the flower I'd have to learn how to paint, just as like a little exercise. But I think it's just really great to have these. And then they have at the back, they have these little cards that you can kind of tear out of each flower, which is cute, and it has their little names on the back. So this is a fun book to have. This is called Flower Color Guide. And then this book, I think I've shown a couple times in a few of my videos. It's called Palette Perfect. I really love it because color palettes are not as easy for me to come up with just off the top of my head. I don't feel like I have that necessary like eye for color. And this just gives you so many different references and ideas for color palettes. And they are all under different categories. So like these are the playful color palettes, which are really, really cute. Then you have delicate color palettes, which I really like too. So it gives you like little photos and stuff, but then a bunch of these different ones. So it also has like the formula of how to create these. I haven't really figured out necessarily how to read it. I kind of just use it as a guide for me to eyeball. So if I want to mix these colors, I'm pretty decent at mixing colors, so I can look at a color and just mix it on my own. So I don't necessarily need to read the formula because I can't yet, but I just love the ideas of these color palettes. They have some really great retro ones. Like they're just so fun. Mysterious, romantic, solitude. I've actually referred to this book quite a few times when painting, and it's just given me a lot of great ideas. It's just something I really love to have. So that's about it. Those are some of my favorite art and watercolor books, reference books, tutorial books, and I absolutely recommend all of them. So hopefully you found something that you think you'd enjoy too, and you can go and support these artists and authors, and that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it, and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye!